Sharon, a 45-year-old widow, is still reeling from the most devastating moment of her life. A few months ago, her husband was stabbed to death on his way home from work. The killer was never caught. Since then, Sharon has been living in a fog of grief, trying her best to hold herself together for the sake of her son, Anthony. Anthony, a quiet and reserved college student, is struggling just as much. He's new to campus, shy by nature, and isolated. The loss of his father left a hole he doesn't know how to fill. Sharon, while grieving, does everything she can to provide stability, but life hasn't been the same since her husband's death. Her days are routine and joyless, and the loneliness is consuming her. The only person she feels somewhat connected to is her childhood friend, now a police officer, who's investigating her husband's murder. He checks in on her often and assures her the case is still active. What Sharon doesn't realize is that he's always had feelings for her, feelings that go beyond friendship. But Sharon, trapped in her own sorrow, doesn't see him that way. Back at college, Anthony faces bullying and isolation. One day, a boy harasses him until someone steps in. Dylan, a confident and charismatic 19-year-old who's well known on campus. Dylan's presence is magnetic, and people naturally gravitate toward him. When he sees Anthony's discomfort, he not only defends him, but also helps him talk to the girl he's secretly admired for months. Dylan becomes Anthony's closest friend. They bond quickly, especially after Dylan reveals his own tragic past. His father took his own life, and Dylan has been living with his uncle ever since. He tells Anthony, "I know how hard it is to grow up without a father," and the two form a deep connection. One day, Anthony invites Dylan over to his home. Sharon is polite, but something about Dylan's gaze makes her uneasy. During a pool party at their house, Dylan behaves strangely. He sneaks into Sharon's bedroom and stares intensely at family photos. When Sharon catches him, he shrugs it off, claiming he got lost looking for the bathroom. He then shares more about his past and thanks her for hosting the party. Sharon, moved by his story, feels sympathy. Soon after, Dylan learns Sharon wants to sell a second house, a property her late husband had gifted to her and Anthony. Dylan shows interest, saying his uncle might want to buy it. When Sharon gives him a tour, a subtle flirtation emerges between them. Sharon starts feeling seen for the first time in a long time. Dylan notices her vulnerability and plays into it. Dylan continues to help Anthony get closer to the girl he likes, even encouraging him to take her on a date. He lends Anthony his car and stays back at the house with Sharon. That night, Dylan and Sharon have a long, emotional conversation. She admits she often felt neglected by her husband. Dylan tells her to tear up the book her husband wrote, a symbolic act of release. She does it. Later, Sharon senses someone watching her while she showers, and it's Dylan. Shocked, she asks what he's doing. Without saying a word, Dylan undresses and approaches her. Sharon, emotionally vulnerable and starved of connection, doesn't resist. They sleep together. Things escalate quickly. The next day, Anthony's crush shows him a disturbing video, Dylan and Sharon kissing at the second house. She reveals she was lured there by Dylan and saw them through the window. Even more shocking, she did some digging and found out Dylan isn't who he claims to be. He's 21, no longer a student, and living a lie. His charm and stories, all part of something darker. Sharon's world crumbles further when the video is leaked online. She's mortified. The officer friend visits and she finally confesses everything about Dylan, her affair years ago, and the threatening emails she's been receiving for months. The officer is heartbroken, not just by the betrayal, but because he genuinely loves her. He storms out. Meanwhile, Dylan sets a trap. He uses Anthony's girlfriend's phone to lure him to his house, where he knocks Anthony unconscious and kidnaps him. He then texts Sharon, pretending Anthony is spending the night out. Later, Sharon receives yet another mysterious email, once again summoning her to the second house. This time, she informs the officer and goes prepared. At the house, a projector plays a chilling video, and Dylan appears behind her. He finally reveals his twisted motive. Years ago, Sharon had an affair with Dylan's father. When their relationship became public, Dylan's father couldn't bear the shame and took his own life. Dylan's mother spiraled into addiction and later died of an overdose. Dylan, left completely alone, held Sharon responsible for the destruction of his family. His revenge plan had been years in the making: infiltrate her life through Anthony, manipulate her emotionally, and destroy her from the inside. He hands Sharon the same knife he used to kill her husband, the very same knife his father used to end his life, and demands that Sharon now do the same to herself. If she refuses, he says, he'll kill Anthony. But Sharon fights back. She stabs Dylan in the leg and runs. The officer arrives, wounded but determined. Together they search the woods where Dylan is hiding Anthony. In a terrifying sequence, Anthony and his girlfriend, tied to a tree, manage to free themselves. Dylan ambushes the officer, stabbing him and stealing his gun. He corners Sharon and prepares to shoot, but Anthony steps in, demanding Dylan stop. "You ruined my life!" Dylan screams. "Your mother destroyed my family!" But before he can fire, the girl hits Dylan from behind. In the struggle, Sharon knocks him out with the officer's gun. She's about to pull the trigger when Anthony stops her. "No," he says, "let the law punish him." The nightmare ends. Months later, peace begins to return. Dylan is in prison. Sharon has started dating the officer. Anthony, while still healing, forgives his mother. The bond between them, once cracked by secrets and betrayal, begins to heal. End of recap. If you enjoyed this emotional thriller, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video.